There are moments in life when it feels as though every door around you has been shut. You knock with hope, you wait with tears, and still the silence remains. The opportunity you prayed for slips away. The relationship you wanted breaks apart. The dream you carried in your heart seems distant, and the path ahead looks darker than ever before. In those moments, the heart begins to ask, why is this happening to me? But sometimes what appears to be a closed door is not a punishment, it is protection. Sometimes the door did not open because behind it was something that would have broken you. And the one who knows what you do not know, the one who sees beyond your sight, is guiding you through wisdom you cannot yet understand. Never think that a delay means you have been forgotten. The one who created your heart knows every pain it carries. He hears every whisper of your dua, every tear that falls in the quiet of the night, every silent cry that no one else can hear. When the world turns away from you, when people say no, when circumstances seem impossible, remember that the door of Allah is never closed. Human beings may reject you, situations may disappoint you, but the mercy of Allah remains open every single moment. The prayer you make with sincerity, even if spoken through trembling lips and a broken heart, rises to the heavens. There are times in life when a closed door feels like the end of everything. You pray for an opportunity, you work for it with sincerity, and then suddenly it disappears from your hands. The heart becomes heavy, the mind fills with questions, and the soul begins to wonder why something so deeply desired was taken away. In those moments, it is easy to think that the closed door is a sign of failure, rejection, or even abandonment. But the truth is often far more beautiful than what we can see in that painful moment. What looks like rejection from your limited view may actually be protection from the one who sees what lies beyond that door. Human beings are naturally drawn to what they desire. We see only the surface of things. We look at a door and imagine success, happiness, and peace behind it. We think, if only this door opens, my life will become complete. But Allah sees what is hidden behind every possibility. He knows the unseen consequences, the people involved, the timing, the impact on your heart, your faith, and your future. Sometimes what you desperately want today carries within it pain that you are not prepared to endure. Sometimes the thing you are asking for may distance you from your peace, your family, or even your connection with Allah. Out of His mercy, He closes that door before you walk through it. Think about how many times in your life something did not happen the way you wanted, only for you to later realize it was for the best. Perhaps there was a job you wanted so badly, and when you did not get it, your heart broke. Yet months later, you discovered that the environment would have been toxic, exhausting, and harmful for your well-being. Perhaps there was a relationship you wanted to hold on to, but it ended despite all your efforts. Later, you came to understand that the person was never meant for your journey, and staying would have caused deeper wounds. At the time, it felt like loss. Later, it became clear that it was mercy. This is the wisdom behind closed doors. Allah does not always give us what we ask for, but He always gives what aligns with His perfect knowledge and mercy. His vision is not limited by time. He sees the future while we are still trapped in the emotions of the present moment. He knows where each road leads. He knows which path brings growth and which path brings destruction. When He closes a door, it is never random. It is always with wisdom, purpose, and care. Sometimes the protection is not from something external, but from ourselves. There are moments when our desires are driven by impatience, ego, comparison, or worldly pressure. We want something because others have it. We chase a door because it looks impressive in the eyes of people. But Allah knows that what we are asking for may not be good for our soul. A closed door can be a way of redirecting your heart towards something more meaningful, something that nurtures your faith and strengthens your character. The pain of a closed door often comes from our inability to see the bigger picture. We focus on what was lost instead of trusting what is being protected. Faith teaches us to believe that not every unanswered prayer is a denial. Sometimes it is a delay. Sometimes it is a redirection. And sometimes it is divine protection wrapped in temporary disappointment. What you call a setback may be Allah saving you from a storm you never saw coming. There is deep peace in surrendering to this understanding. Instead of asking, why was this door closed? Begin to ask, what is Allah protecting me from? This shift in perspective changes pain into trust. It transforms confusion into patience. It allows the heart to rest in the certainty that the one who closed the door did so out of wisdom, not cruelty. The believer understands that Allah's mercy is not always obvious in the moment. Sometimes mercy arrives disguised as disappointment. Sometimes blessings come in the form of obstacles. A roadblock may be preventing you from going down a path that would have broken you. A delay may be preparing you for something greater than what you originally asked for. One day, the reason behind the closed door may become clear. You may look back and realize that what you once cried over was actually the very thing that saved you. You may understand that if that door had opened, it would have led you away from peace, growth, and blessings. And in that moment, your heart will whisper, Alhamdulillah, for what did not happen, just as much as for what did. Until then, hold on to trust. Not every door is meant to open when you want it to. Some doors are closed because your Lord loves you enough to protect you from what you cannot yet understand. And that protection, though painful in the moment, is one of the greatest forms of mercy a heart can receive. There are moments in life when the heart grows tired of waiting. You make dua day after day, night after night, and yet nothing seems to change. The same problems remain, the same doors stay closed, and the same pain continues to sit heavily upon your chest. In such moments, impatience begins to whisper to the soul. It asks, why is it taking so long? But one of the most profound lessons of faith is to understand that a delay is never the same as a denial. What has not arrived yet is not necessarily refused. It may simply be waiting for the perfect moment written by Allah. Human beings live by urgency. We want answers now, results now, relief now. We measure time by our emotions and expectations. If something does not happen quickly, we begin to assume it will never happen. But Allah is the Lord of time itself. His wisdom is beyond our limited understanding of moments and months. What feels late to us is always perfectly on time in His divine plan. Sometimes the blessing is ready, but you are not yet ready for the blessing. Sometimes the opportunity exists, but your heart, your character, or your circumstances need preparation first. Think about how a seed is planted. The moment it enters the soil, nothing appears to happen on the surface. Days pass and still there is no visible growth. To the eye, it may seem as if the seed has been forgotten, but beneath the soil, something extraordinary is taking place. Roots are forming, strength is building, life is preparing itself for the moment it will break through the earth. If you judged only by what you can see, you would think nothing is happening. Yet the unseen work is the most important part of the process. In the same way, your prayers may seem delayed, but Allah may be working beneath the surface in ways your eyes cannot perceive. Perhaps He is aligning people, events, and opportunities that must come together at the right time. Perhaps He is protecting you from receiving something too early. A blessing that arrives before its time can become a burden. Wealth without wisdom can destroy peace. Success without humility can damage the soul. Love without maturity can end in heartbreak. Allah, in His mercy, sometimes delays what you ask for until the moment it will truly benefit you. There is beauty in divine timing that the heart only understands later. Many times when we finally receive what we prayed for, we look back and realize that if it had come earlier, it would not have worked. We were too impatient, too emotionally fragile, too unprepared, or simply not in the right place in life. What once felt like an unbearable delay later reveals itself as mercy and wisdom. Patience during delay is one of the greatest tests of faith. It is easy to believe when everything is unfolding according to your desires. True trust is shown when nothing seems to move and yet you continue to pray. It is in those silent periods when the world offers no visible sign that your heart proves its reliance upon Allah. Every moment you wait with faith is an act of worship. Every tear shed in dua, every whispered Ya Allah, every moment of restraint from despair is seen and valued by the one who never forgets. The delay may also be a means of drawing you closer to Allah. Sometimes if the answer came immediately, the heart would move on too quickly. But in the waiting, you return to Him again and again. You raise your hands more often. You cry more sincerely. You speak to Him from the deepest part of your soul. The waiting period softens the heart and strengthens the connection between the servant and the Creator. What you thought was an obstacle may actually be an invitation to grow spiritually. There are blessings that become sweeter precisely because they were delayed. When something comes after long patience, after countless du'as and tears, the gratitude in the heart becomes deeper. The soul values it more, appreciates it more, and recognizes it as a true gift from Allah. The delay teaches appreciation, trust, and resilience. Never allow the passing of time to convince you that your prayer has been ignored. Silence is not absence. Delay is not rejection. The one who heard your first prayer still hears your latest one. He knows exactly what your heart desires and exactly when it should arrive. Your responsibility is not to control the timing. Your responsibility is to continue believing. Sometimes the delay is preparing something greater than what you initially asked for. You may have prayed for one door while Allah is preparing a better one. You may have asked for one solution while He is arranging relief from a direction you never imagined. His generosity is not limited by your expectations. So when the answer does not come today, do not let hopelessness enter your heart. Continue to trust. Continue to make dua. Continue to believe that what is written for you cannot miss you, and what misses you was never meant for you. The clock of the world may tell you that it is late, but the decree of Allah always arrives at the most perfect moment, in the most perfect way, for the most perfect reason. And when that moment finally comes, your heart will understand why every second of waiting was part of His mercy, and why the delay itself was shaping you for the blessing that was always on its way, slowly, beautifully, and with wisdom beyond what your heart could yet comprehend, in the silence of the wait and the stillness of the unseen plan that was unfolding all along through every prayer and every moment of patience you carried within you as you kept saying, Insha'Allah. There is a power in sincere dua that the human mind can never fully comprehend. It is not merely words spoken by the tongue, it is the language of the soul speaking directly to its creator. When the heart is burdened, when every worldly means seems exhausted, and when no one around you truly understands the depth of your pain, dua becomes the bridge between your weakness and Allah's infinite power. It is the moment when a servant admits with complete humility that there is no strength, no solution, and no help except from Him. Many people underestimate the strength of a sincere prayer. They see it as a simple act, a few whispered words after salah or a quiet plea before sleeping. But in reality, dua is one of the most powerful gifts given to a believer. It can bring peace to a restless heart, light to the darkest moment, and hope to a soul that feels surrounded by closed doors. A heartfelt prayer has the ability to change what appears impossible, because nothing is impossible for Allah. The beauty of dua lies in its sincerity. Allah does not look at the eloquence of your words, He looks at the condition of your heart. You do not need perfect phrases or long speeches. Sometimes the most powerful dua is a tear rolling down your cheek while your lips whisper, Ya Allah, help me. Sometimes it is the silent cry of the heart when words fail you completely. He understands the pain before you even express it. He knows what is hidden in your chest, the fears you cannot explain and the hopes you have not shared with anyone. There are moments in life when people disappoint us. Friends may not understand, family may not have the answers, and the world may turn its back. In such moments, dua reminds you that you are never alone. The one who created the heavens and the earth is listening to you. Imagine the comfort in knowing that the Lord of all creation hears your smallest whisper. No pain is too small for Him and no problem is too big for Him. Sometimes we make the mistake of thinking that our situation is beyond repair. We look at our circumstances and say, this can never change. But that is because we are looking through the lens of human limitation. Allah is not limited by what limits us. He can open doors where there are walls. He can create solutions where there seems to be no path. He can turn loss into gain, sadness into peace, and hardship into ease in ways the mind could never imagine. History and life are filled with moments where sincere dua transformed impossible situations. A heart broken by pain found peace. A person drowning in debt found relief. A soul lost in confusion found guidance. Doors that seemed permanently shut suddenly opened. These moments are not coincidences. They are reminders of the immense power of turning to Allah with sincerity. But sincere dua is more than asking for what you want. It is an act of trust. It means placing your worries, dreams, and fears into the hands of the one who knows what is best. Sometimes the answer comes exactly as you requested. Sometimes it comes in a different form. Sometimes it is delayed for a wisdom you do not yet see. And sometimes Allah gives you something better than what you asked for. Every response is mercy, even when it does not immediately look like it. The heart must never grow tired of making dua. Repetition is not a sign that Allah is not listening. Rather, it is a sign of your persistence in faith. Every time you raise your hands, you are renewing your hope and trust in Him. Even if days turn into months and months into years, continue to call upon Him. The dua made with patience and certainty carries a special beauty because it reflects a heart that refuses to give up on Allah's mercy. There is also a deep spiritual transformation that happens through dua. When you repeatedly turn to Allah, your heart softens. Pride disappears. You begin to recognize your dependence on Him in every aspect of life. This humility itself is a blessing. Sometimes the greatest gift of dua is not only the answer, but the closeness to Allah that develops through the process of asking. Never underestimate the tears shed in the darkness of the night. Those tears are witnessed by the one who never sleeps. The prayers you make in your loneliness are heard. The words you repeat with hope are recorded. Even if the answer has not yet appeared, trust that something is moving in the unseen. Sincere dua changes you as much as it changes circumstances. It fills the heart with hope, patience, and reliance upon Allah. It reminds you that no matter how closed the doors of the world may seem, the door to Allah's mercy remains forever open. So when life becomes heavy, do not stop praying. Raise your hands with certainty. Speak to your Lord with honesty. Ask Him for what your heart longs for and trust His wisdom in the response. Because one sincere dua made from the depths of a believing heart can become the reason impossible doors begin to open, darkness begins to fade, and blessings begin to flow in ways that leave the soul in awe of the mercy and power of Allah, who answers in the most perfect time and in the most beautiful way for those who never stop turning back to Him with faith and hope in every breath and every whispered prayer that rises from a heart seeking His mercy and light through every trial and every closed door in life. There comes a moment in every believer's life when the heart is asked to trust what the eyes cannot see. You stand before a closed door, confused by the silence, hurt by the delay, and uncertain about what lies ahead. In that moment, faith is not about having all the answers. Faith is about trusting that Allah's plan is greater than your understanding. It is believing that when one path closes, another, better, wiser, and more aligned with your destiny is already being prepared by the one who knows what is hidden and what is yet to come. Human beings naturally become attached to their own plans. We map out our lives with hopes, timelines, and expectations. We decide what success should look like, who should stay in our lives, and how quickly our dreams should unfold. But life often moves differently from what we imagined. A door closes, a dream is delayed, a relationship ends, an opportunity slips away, and the heart begins to ask, why when I wanted this so much? Yet the truth is that our vision is limited to the present moment, while Allah's knowledge encompasses the past, the present, and the future. What you call a closed door may actually be a divine redirection. Sometimes Allah removes you from a path not because it is bad in appearance, but because it is not meant for your soul. He knows where that road leads. He knows the pain it may carry, the lessons it may force upon you, and the burdens it may place on your heart. Out of His mercy, He may close that way so you do not walk into something that would harm your peace, your faith, or your future. Trusting Allah's plan means accepting that not everything you lose is truly a loss. Sometimes what leaves your life is making space for what is meant to enter it. A closed door is not always the end of an opportunity. Often it is the beginning of a better one. But because that better path has not yet appeared, the heart struggles with patience. It sees only what was taken, not what is being prepared. There is profound wisdom in believing that Allah replaces what is removed with something more suitable for you. Perhaps the opportunity you missed was only a stepping stone to something far greater. Perhaps the person who walked away was not meant to accompany you into the chapter Allah has written next. Perhaps the plan that failed is preventing you from settling for something smaller than what He intends for you. Sometimes the better path is not easier, it is more meaningful. Allah's plan is not always about comfort, it is often about growth. He may lead you through a difficult road because that road shapes your character, strengthens your faith, and teaches you reliance upon Him. The path you wanted may have given you temporary happiness, but the one He chooses may give you lasting peace. Think of the moments in life when something ended and you thought it was the worst thing that could happen. Then months or years later, you looked back and realized it was one of the greatest blessings in disguise. What once felt like heartbreak became protection. What once felt like failure became redirection. What once felt like loss became the beginning of something beautiful. This is the mercy hidden within Allah's plan. Trusting Him does not mean you will never feel pain. It means that even in pain, your heart remains anchored in certainty. You allow yourself to grieve, to feel the disappointment, and to acknowledge the difficulty. But beneath all of that remains a deep belief that Allah knows best. This trust brings peace even in uncertainty because it reminds the soul that its life is not unfolding randomly. The phrase inshallah carries immense spiritual power because it reflects surrender. It is a declaration that your hopes are tied not to your own control, but to the will of Allah. It teaches the heart humility and patience. You make your plans, you work sincerely, and you pray earnestly, but ultimately you leave the outcome to Him. When one path closes, do not stand forever at that same door. Sometimes trust means having the courage to turn away from what did not happen and to remain open to what Allah is bringing next. The next door may not look like what you expected. It may come from a completely different direction. It may be something you never considered. But very often, Allah's best gifts arrive in ways that surprise us. The believer finds comfort in knowing that what is written for them cannot be taken away, and what is not written will never remain, no matter how hard they try to hold on to it. This understanding frees the heart from despair. It replaces anxiety with reliance and disappointment with hope. So if a door has closed in your life, do not assume your story has ended. Trust that Allah is moving things in the unseen. Trust that what is meant for you is still on its way. Trust that every closed path is guiding you toward the road that truly belongs to you. And one day, when the next door opens wider and more beautifully than the last, your heart will finally understand why that earlier door had to close and why every moment of waiting was part of a plan far more merciful and perfect than anything you could have imagined, as Allah was preparing for you a future that matched your soul, your growth, and your destiny in ways only His wisdom could ever know, through every test, every delay, and every redirection that brought you closer to where you were always meant to be.